All right, so in the previous video, we made this crummy lip sync animation. So, man, okay. So we made this. Somebody was going to back out, all right, and then I'm just going to do the next part here. So this is this one here. So this is the next section. Yeah. So what we're going to do is double click on this, and you can see I just have until one day. He sees a baby in the middle of the road. And then there's going to be another bit of text after that. Okay, so you can probably guess what's going to happen. Basically, I want him to see the baby, and then after he sees the baby, he's going to jump in front of the baby. Okay. All right, so that's what we want to do. So we have our first keyframe, and so which is just the setup. So I'm going to make it in this one, instead of having him be the button, I'm actually going to make the baby be the button. And then when we click the button, it's going to make him jump up and in front of the baby and kind of wave, and then the car will go by. That's going to be the animation. All right. Now, yeah, so that's what we're going to do. But before we do that, I need to set up a couple of things. So what I'm going to do is this. I want to make a puppet, if you will. So doing bones. Okay, so now when we did it before in ActionScript, they added. You're gonna think it's hilarious, but you might see that now this is grayed out. The parenting. They only added parenting like last year, and parenting is like the foundation of any animation package. I mean, because it's hierarchy. So if you don't have a parental hierarchy, how do you make things rotate? That doesn't even seem plausible, but in all their genius, for some reason, that was never included. So the way to do it in here is that we can actually use the bone tool and create a hierarchy through that. And so we're going to create kind of a puppet doing that. All right. So what I have for this one is, I think it's in panel 3. We have baby sit, cone scared, and we have cone waving MC. Okay. So I am going to do it in this one. So what we're going to do is this. Instead of having it on the outermost, I'm going to have it nested inside of this guy here. And then we'll go from there, right? So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take, we have our first frame. And then I'm just going to go ahead and key our second frame. So let's click and drag the second frame here. Like that, and then just hit F6 or right click, or you can also do insert timeline keyframe. Okay. All right. So now we have the first frame, the second frame, and then I just need to think about how long it's going to take. So, so you're going to see this. You're going to click on the baby, and then the next thing is going to happen. So the first things first, actually, this text I want to change. So I'm actually going to delete that. So you can see now it's on this one, but there's no drawing here, and I have a new one. So text 2, and that's going to be. Cone jumped in front of the baby, and the oncoming traffic avoided them. Cone was a hero. He realized his repulsion was in fact a strength, just like my real life. And then I was gonna put, and then the baby walked away, but I decided against it because it's not a happy moral of the story. So anyway, so that's gonna happen there. So you see, doink. Okay. So yeah. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make some animation. So I don't know how long it needs to be. Let's just click and drag. We'll just make it 6 seconds. So I'm click and drag. I'm hit F5, or again, right click, insert frame. Right click, insert frame. All right. So now this will be the first one, and then it goes to this. And the first thing I want to do is I want to have this cone guy. I'm just going to have him jump up and then have him land here. So he's just going to go up and then come down. So that's just kind of the easiest way I think to do it. So I'm going to go to the cone here, and we're just going to go ahead and use motion tween because that's the best one. So we'll start like this, and then so before he would jump, he'd have to squash. So I'm just going to take it, and let's hit Q. Where is my pivot's way over there. So we're going to take the pivot and make sure it's right here. And I'm just going to go ahead and have him kind of squash like this. So we're going to squat and squash, and then let's see, will he shear? He will. Okay. So this way. It's weird how it shears both. I don't understand why it's doing that. The shearing is acting all strange. You know what it is? I think because it's inside of a scene. Well, anyways, we'll just squash it then. So we're just going to go down. He's going to squash. And then after that, we'll go 1, 2 frames. Actually, we'll just go 1 frame after. So I'm gonna go 1 frame after. I'm gonna grab them and then I'm gonna stretch it like this. So he's gonna go boom, boop, and then the next one, I'm just gonna stretch it really far. And the reason for it is because I don't have a drawing of his feet. It's just so you're just gonna see this like flash, and then what I'm gonna do is for the rest of this, I'm actually gonna remove it. So I'm gonna click and drag this whole area, right click, and I'm gonna remove frames. So you're gonna go whoop. So they're never gonna see. He's gonna go like that. So it's just gonna look like a motion blur. And then we'll have to do. So we'll do this. We'll call this cone C's, and then we'll do a new layer, and we'll call this one cone protects. Okay. And what we're going to do is I want it blank for the beginning because I don't want any drawings there. It has to happen as soon as this one's done. So I'm just going to go right here and just hit F6, which in this case, it's going to create a blank keyframe because there is nothing there to copy and create a new frame in. So we're going to have that. And then I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to grab that cone, not that one. Where are you? Cone waving. This one right here. I'm going to drop that guy in there and then you're going to see it becomes black. And now we're going to have him land here. Okay. Woohoo! So that's what he's going to do. And let's just make sure we move the pivot to the base. That way, if we squash and stretch it, it does it from there. And we're going to kind of do the same thing I did here. I'm going to right click on this and we are going to create a motion tween. And I'm just going to have him, let's see, we'll go here and I'm just going to go F6. I'm going to go to the first frame and we're going to take him and we're going to pull him up and out. And then what we're going to do is the frame just before he lands, this one here, I'm going to stretch it up like this, like that. So he'll be stretched. And then after this one, I'm going to go ahead and we're just going to put 2 frames after and put one right here. We're going to do F6 again. So I have 2 of these. I have the stretch one, then this one, and then I did it again. And I'm just going to take the one that was here and I'm going to squash this one like so. So basically it'll stretch, squash, and then come back up. So it'll look like this. All right. It'll be pretty quick, but you should hopefully get the idea. All right. So that's the lump sum of that. And then let's just go ahead and do the car as well. So again, the first frame of the car is not there. Second frame it is. So I'm just going to grab this car. I'm going to drop it in here. And you can see the car is not in the right position. Oh, make sure. Undo. Okay. Make sure that you select the car layer. I didn't have the car layer selected. I'm going to pop that guy in there. That's good. And I need to flip him. So I'm just going to modify, transform, flip horizontal. Okay. Now he's in the right spot. And the other thing I'm going to do is go to frame picker. So you just go window frame picker. And I'm just going to choose this one. I think that one's good. That's like the original, what it looked like. And then I'm not going to bother frame. Oh, and I also need to make sure you change from loop to single frame. So he's just going to hold this drawing and I'm just literally going to have it come from this direction and go that way. So, oops, there we go. So we're just going to right click on this and we'll go ahead and make it a motion tween. And then we're just going to have it go all the way to the end, like, and make it super small. And I'm just going to use my arrows, like so. Let's Control plus, make sure he's small. I'm just use the baby as a way to kind of hide him, like that. Okay, and so, and then the starting position, Control minus, he's got to be a lot bigger. Quite a bit bigger than that, I think. Like this. Let's see, and I'll just click and drag. And I think he needs to be more over this way too. Just want to make sure he goes around him. There we go. That'll work. And the other thing we're going to do is we're going to click in here and I'm going to go to the properties because right now it's just generally going linear. If you look at every these little ticks, every one of these little dots is a frame. So he goes the same speed the entire time. he should be going slower, again, because perspective. So I'm going to click on any frame inside of this span here, and then you'll see easing, and just go ahead and put 100. And what that's going to do is it's going to start off faster and then move slower as he gets farther away. So you can see, oops, see how these ticks, how far they are? And then look how close they get right up here. They're right on top of each other. So if we hit enter, let's see what that looks like. And basically avoids the baby. Woo, right? So that's great. Now the other thing I want to do is that you can see he's putting his arms out. It'd be better if maybe he was waving them. So what I'm going to do is inside of this symbol, I'm going to go ahead and build the puppet. Okay. So we're going to double click on it, and now we're inside of that cone. And right now it's just a drawing. So we're going to kind of do like we did last time when we did the hierarchical puppet, where we had points, where we had parenting, except parenting is not possible in here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to first break them up into symbols, and then from that we will do the rest. Okay, so let's go ahead and do it. So I'm just going to use the regular select, and I'm going to grab this foot, and I'll just hit F8 or go modify, create symbol, and I'm just going to do cone underscore left, or we're going to go foot, lowercase, foot left underscore MC. Just gotta make sure it's a movie clip. Okay. And I'll do the same thing here. F8. Cone underscore foot right underscore MC. And then let's see if we can, I'm gonna click and drag roughly where I think the knee should be. And I'm just gonna hold shift and click on this so that it becomes unselected. And then we'll hit F8. And we'll do cone underscore lower leg left underscore MC. Okay. And then I'm just gonna see if I can click and, oops, wrong direction, control plus. Well, let's do the lower leg here first, and then I'll do the other upper leg. Okay, and F8. And it'll be cone underscore lower leg right underscore MC. And then I need to get these, so I'm just gonna double click on that. And then, can I double click? I'm trying to think about how to get it. Let's see, if I double click on this, control minus, doesn't give me the whole guy. I'm just gonna hold shift and click all of it. There we go. And then, so do this, you're gonna double click on this, but it doesn't get all of it. I'm gonna hold shift and click and drag. And then I'm just gonna use hold shift still and hit upper arrow. That'll give some space between him and his legs here. Okay, so then I'm gonna click and drag, and I'm gonna hold shift and unselect these. So now I just have this, and I'll hit F8 again. This is obviously not the cleanest way. I normally would draw these out better, but just for the sake of expediency. So upper leg, left underscore MC. And then we'll just kind of do the same thing here. Okay, and F8. Oops, I hit F9 apparently. F8. So cone underscore upper leg right underscore MC. Okay, and then I am I just want this. Oh, so it leaks straight through. You know, for the purposes of making this simpler, we'll just make his upper body a piece here as well. Let's do his arms actually next. So I'm going to grab this hand, hold shift like that, and we'll just again hit F8, and we'll just do cone underscore hand left underscore MC. Let's do that over here. F8, cone underscore hand right underscore MC. Okay, then we'll do, I guess the next part, we'll say about there. Unselect that. I'm holding shift to unselect that and click on it. And then again, F8. And it'll be cone underscore lower arm left underscore MC. I'll do the same thing here. So make sure I unselect that. Make sure you unselect this because you don't want that to be inside of the other one. F8. So cone underscore lower arm right underscore MC. Okay, and then I guess if I double click, is that the whole thing? It is not. So I'm just gonna keep double clicking and then clicking and dragging. So what I did is I double clicked, I pulled it away. It wasn't the whole thing. So I held shift and I double clicked again at above because it looked like it was above it was missing. So like, see how like you can see it's right there. So I'm just gonna hold shift and double click. Now I got the whole thing. So now I'll hit F8 and we'll do cone underscore upper arm left underscore MC. Let's do the same thing here. And did I get the whole thing? I guess I did. Okay, so F8. That again, I hit F9. F9 opens the script editor, which is useful, but not at the moment. Cone underscore upper arm right underscore MC. And control minus. Okay. What I'm going to do now is I need to do the body. So normally the body would break up into different sections like hips and waist and maybe head. But obviously he's one big piece. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to make his body just one big piece for the sake, honestly, of just making it simpler. So I'm going to do is I'm going to grab his arm. I'm just going to pull that off. I'm going to grab this arm, pull that off. And then his legs are already off. So I'm just going to double click on that. I'm going to hold shift and double click, And I think I got the whole thing. Looks like I'm missing little bits there, but I don't really care about that as much. So we're just going to go modify, convert to symbol, and we'll just do cone underscore body underscore MC. Good. And I'm just going to grab this extra stuff and just delete it so it's not there. Okay. So now we got a body and we've got these limbs and stuff, all right? So what we're going to do is I'm just going to spread these out a little bit and you'll see why later. Like this, just so that we can see all the pieces, because we're going to need that. Oops. Okay, like that. And then same thing here. So we'll just take these. Let's put this here, this guy there, this guy there, this guy there, this guy there, and this guy here. Okay. Now the last thing I need, again, this is going to seem like a weird thing. I need to draw another drawing. So I'm just going to do the oval, and I'm just going to choose red for the fill. And for the stroke, I'm going to choose, no smoking. Come on, nothing. Okay. You'll see why in a second why we're doing this, but come on, buddy. Undo. Please undo. Control Z. Control Z. Okay. Maybe that isn't going to work. It's not. Okay, that works. Can I? Okay. Looks like hotkeys or something are broken. Delete. I can grab it, but I can't delete it. It's really weird. Well, it doesn't really matter that much. Q. All right, that worked. Maybe I got caps lock. No, caps lock's not on. All right, so I'm just going to make a little red dot. It actually doesn't matter what it is. And then I'm just going to hit F8. And we're just going to call it, let's call it bone. Oops, not cone. Actually, yeah, we'll just call it bone helper. MC. Okay. And what I want to do is, so now we have this, and I want you to put it on the end of each one of these pieces. Okay, so I have it here. So the easiest way to do it is I'm hitting V for the select tool, hold Alt, click and drag, right? Or you can just select it, hit Control C, Control V, and it will paste another one if that's easier for you. But if you hold Alt, it automatically creates a duplicate. So put right at the end of each one of these limbs. All right, good. So now we have the general setup. We have the graphics of him. I know it looks kind of crummy, but it'll work. Now we gotta do is actually put the bones in themselves. Hopefully the bone tool's over here. If it's not, looks like mine's not. So I'm just gonna click these little dots and then there's the bone. So I'm just gonna click and drag it to here. All right, and then don't need you anymore. Okay, so there it is, the bones. Them bones in bones. All right, so what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna start. Did I put one at the top? Oops, God bless it. There we go. I didn't, okay, so sorry, I forgot. We gotta put this dot up there too. So put one at the top of his head as well. So the bones can work in two ways. I'm just going to show you the one way, and then we'll show you the other way. So one way is if you have a shape, like let's say like this. All right, let's give it a stroke too, so you can see that it works with strokes. Like this. What you can do is you can use the bones to go, there you are, jeez. You can click and drag and click and drag and click and drag. And then what you can do is just with the regular select tool, you can basically manipulate that shape, which is really cool, right? So like that's neat. The problem is it doesn't work with anything more complicated than that. So So let's say for some reason, just keep this super simple. Let's say I just draw a stroke across it like this, right? And then I take this and I make this fill green. Now watch, when I try to use the bone tool, it will start to work, but it will only work on that bottom shape. I can't draw into the next one. And that's kind of like, I don't know why it'll work with the one, but it won't go beyond, but that's just how the tool works, which is pretty crummy. I did sort of find like a weird workaround with this. So what you could do is this. It's kind of not the greatest thing to do, but you could take like this guy, right? And let's say I want to have a green top like I had before. Cut it across like this. And then just grab this and change it to green again. What I could do is grab this green, pull it in here, hit Q, and make it a little bit smaller. Let me get closer. Okay, I'll say like that. And what will happen is now when I do the bones, them bones in bones, it will actually, well, we don't need another one. It will actually work. So it'll be a little bit weird and not work great, but as long as a single fill is encapsulating the whole thing, you can kind of make it work. But obviously that's not exactly probably how you want it to look. But that was one workaround. Like if you wanted to try and but if you had distinct like arm, changes of color, like there's no way around it. So you can kind of do something like that. But so that's kind of disappointing that that's not a possibility. The other thing you can do is you can have it work on multiple objects. Where's delete? Okay, I'm working on my laptop today. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to my bone tool, and we're just gonna start with. I keep pushing minus instead of plus. This isn't giving me quite the zoom out. Let's do 150. Okay, so we're gonna start with him and then work our way out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click here, and I'm gonna drag up. Now watch, it won't let me drag into my own guy. It has to go into the next object. So if you go over here, see how there's a little like no smoking symbol on there? But when I go up to the next one, there is one. So that's why we have to put those little dots up there. And I'll show you, we're gonna get rid of those. Okay, so now we have that, that's good. Now what I need to do is do the next one. So I'm gonna start from here, I'm gonna click and drag out of this one. So click on that bone, and I'm gonna drag and drop it on this guy. And you wanna put it right where the pivot's gonna be. So obviously the pivot of the shoulder is right here. And then I'm going to click and drag to the pivot of this, and click and drag to the pivot of that, and then click to the dot. Same thing here, click and drag, click and drag, click and drag, and then click and drag. All right, now same thing down here, click and drag, 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 and click and drag. Okay. So, oops. Okay. So now what I want to do is I just need to move these so that they're where I want them to be. So I should be able to, let me see, do I hold control? No, that wasn't it. Maybe it's the Q. Yeah, so if I use Q, I can pull them over. So switch to your move tool, and then you should be able to grab them. Come on. And then move them to the correct position. So I'm just going to grab each thing and then snap and pull them back together with my select here. So, and then just put this at the tip of his hand, basically. Didn't do a great job of this drawing here, but you get the idea. So we're going to take each one of these, pull them like that. And actually, I'll just put the leg together first and then put it up there. Okay. Okay. All right. And then we'll take this leg. Oh, I thought it would move them all. Apparently it didn't. Okay. Oh, let's probably put that a little bit farther away. Yeah. Oh, and then the little dot here. Okay. So that looks good. I'm going to go back to my move tool. And basically this will allow me to bend it around, right? So like that's cool. A little bit of a problem with this moving up there, but we can just move these individually. It's just got a little bit of wiggle to it. That's fine. Sure, probably put another bone right there, but whatever. Put that over here. Okay. So let's undo all that because there's a lot of movements. Okay, so one of the issues is that I have these little red dots, but what I can do is I obviously don't want those. So what I can do is if you go to the library and we'll go to bone helper, right? If I double click on this icon, it'll open up that element. Now all I got to do is I'm just going to grab it, go to the properties of it, take the fill, and I'm going to take the alpha and just make it 0. So it's 100% see-through. It's there. There's something present, but you can't see it anymore. Then I'll just click this to back out, go back in here, and now you see we have our little guy. So everything looks exactly the same, but when I go inside of this guy now, oh man, I didn't move the, I forgot to move the one bone here, so let's see if I can move. Oh, good. Whew, that was close. Okay, move him there. Okay, good. So now I have my dude, and what I'm going to do in here is just, I'm going to remove this because these are just examples and stuff. So you see, it makes a new kind of layer, and it basically works like the motion editor. So I'm just going to have him wave his arms like this, and we'll just have him do it for like 1 second. I just want you to see how to do this. So I'm just going to go ahead and we will do, let's do like 1.5 seconds. So I'm going to go here, and I'm just going to hit F5. That will extend it there. And we're just going to go ahead and go to the last frame, and I want this to cycle, so I'm going to hit F6. So the last frame is the same as the first frame, and then I'm just going to go, halfway between, and we're just going to, with the select tool, I'm just going to basically, wave his arms like so. So he's going to go like that, and I can take this and have this arm bend too, if you want. Oops, be careful not to, oops. Just want to make sure I grab this and pull this guy down like that. Okay, so you'll see he's going to go like this now. Right, and then I'm just going to take this one and do kind of the same thing. I'll rotate this up, and I'll rotate this way. Let's go like that. Make sure that looks okay. And then we'll do the same thing here, I guess. So I'll just have him kick his leg out, I guess. Kick this leg out. Let's make sure this kind of goes up a little. Bend his leg. So now he's just going to go, right? So he's just doing this thing. Okay. And so you're not going to see it here unless you preview it, but because it's inside of the symbol. And I can't preview it by hitting Control-Enter because we haven't gotten to this frame yet, but you can see basically you now have this armature built. So if I don't click on it, you now have this armature built inside of this guy. Okay, and that is more or less the lump sum of it. So, and then right there he's gonna be waving. You can't see it, but you will. He's got to go a little bit lower. I think I moved him a little bit in that thing here. So, boom. Let's just make sure he's more in front of the ground. That part's fine. There we go. That looks a little better. Okay, and then he's just got the car's gonna drive by. Alrighty, so that should be good. So now we have basically most of the animation. I might add a little bit before the next thing next week when we go to actually code this. I might add a little bit here and there, maybe adjust it. But we have enough that we can work with what we have. Okay. Yeah, so that is it. So if you, hopefully that made more or less some sense. Just do the best you can. I know it's a little bit confusing because it's a lot of stuff, but we've covered most of the tools now at this point. So at least as far as like animation tools are concerned. So good luck. If you have any issues, just let me know. I've been doing virtual meetings with all sorts of people. So if you need any of those, just let me know and I will help you get through it. All right. Good luck, guys.